Hello my Mercurial mercenaries, it's another episode of the In the Car Mercurial activity session. What we have here is a failure to communicate, not a failure to communicate. What we have here is me sitting here with, I'll tell you a story for a start, because you might as well start at the start, don't start at the end. If you start at the end and work backwards, I would have to learn everything I'm about to say backwards and able to then play it backwards so you can hear it forwards. It's a tactic, magicians use it. Rock stars who like to play games with the devil like to use that kind of tactic, my mercenaries. I don't really know it yet. Can I say any words backwards? We could try that, couldn't we? Maybe we'll do a video where I'll record the video and then I'll play it backwards and I'll learn it backwards and then re-record it backwards so that I can play it backwards to be forwards. We could do that, my mercenaries. What videos used to do that? There's been a few music videos over the years, hasn't there? You might have noticed this as a time waster, my mercenaries. There's been a few videos over the years that have done that. I think Give It Away by the Chili Peppers. Can any of you give me other examples of videos that were filmed backwards, sung forwards? That Coldplay song, Scientist, I think, might have been. Oh, look at that, my mercenaries. You see that? Look at that. Look at that. This is a bacon and... No, sorry, a sausage. No, I mean, it's not important to you. You're not going to eat it. I'm eating it. Sausage and egg. That. So I went into the shop and I said, oh, I'll have a sausage. I'll have a sausage and... Ooh, I'll have a sausage and egg bat, please. Like that. And I did it in that voice. I'll have a sausage and egg bat, please. And I said, at the last minute, I said, oh, and I might have a cup of coffee as well. And they got this lovely coffee machine. And then the woman went up to the coffee machine and went, you don't want one of these, do you? These lattes and cappuccinos and stuff from the machine. I can just make you an instant one here. Much cheaper. You don't want all this stuff here, do you? And I thought, well, really, I do. I kind of just want you to press that. I want you to press that cappuccino button, really. And yeah, I'll have to stand here and you'll have to stand here. We'll have to spend more time in each other's company. Fair play. But I kind of wanted that cappuccino. But what happened was, through the sheer power of her suggestion, because she could be a magician, probably, a magician as well, but through sheer suggestive willpower, she made me say, yeah, just give me an instant Nescafe. So I have a cup here that looks like it should be majestic and mercurial, but it's not. It's just a cup of coffee like I could have at home. In fact, worse than I'd have at home, because I tend to use the my machine, my Dolce Gusto Vita Humble Num 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 9000 Nimbus fucking 3, my mercenaries. So we've got instant coffee. Let's just try this sausage and egg bat. And I thought what I could do. I could turn, oh look, and I asked for brown sauce as well. I thought what I could do, this is just like the old days. Go back 2 years, maybe more, you'll have a video like this one. What I could do, and I used to do this, my mercenaries. The first comment would always be from someone who's never watched my videos. And they'll be saying, it's really rude and disrespectful of you to eat while you talk to us. When people do it in public, when there's the opportunity for bits to be spat in your face. I mean, we've talked about this before, my mercenaries, so do forgive this, alright? But I thought, what I could do is just turn the camera on and talk. Now, ordinarily, I must admit, for most people, turning a camera on in public like this, kind of public, I mean, public, but we're separated by this. And anyone out there is separated by that. So there's going to be no spitting of bread and particles of sausage. No one wants a particle of sausage spat in their face. Most people would probably struggle if you put a camera on them and told them just how to do a monologue. I would say an internal monologue, but this is an external monologue, because if it was an internal monologue, it would be this. And you don't want to watch that. Or listen to that while you're folding your underwear. Folding your underwear. The thing is with me, quite often I can turn a camera on with absolutely no idea what I'm going to say and still waste a lot of time, because I have the ability to waste not only my time but your time. So I have turned this on thinking this is Mercurial number 6. This guy, he's going to be saying something interesting, because he always says something interesting. He doesn't just have B, B, B. What was that? What was B, B, B? Boring, bullshit bollocks. Sorry, I've got to just shut up a minute because a large woman with a cigarette is walking past. I mean, I might be Mercurial, but I don't necessarily want people to think that I'm, you know, one of those members of the community, if you know what I mean. Talking is something that I can do, and when it comes to YouTube channels, I think talking is quite important, because if you don't have talking, you just have the visuals. And then we're talking about being like a mime artist, but I think I could do that. We'll have to remember that, my mercenaries. We'll have to have another video one day where I do nothing but communicate. Why is it back? Communicate with you through the power of hand signals and eyebrow gestures. But I mean, like Alan Partridge says, when you're driving, your head, the back of your head, is supposed to be in contact with the headrest, so your head's there, headrest there. So if you have a crash, it's not going anywhere. Like I am now, the headrest is there, my head is here. Have a crash, that movement of your head, dead. So this is, and all, I don't think I've ever, and then I spent so much time doing that, sweat patches, doing that. It's very hot in here, my mercenaries, even though it looks over, but it is overcast, it doesn't just look overcast. But I get into a car and I spent trying to pull the headrest forward. The bloody things don't move, my mercenaries. They don't move, my mercenaries. I mean, the car's not moving, so it doesn't matter. We're parked up, my mercenaries. But, you know, I don't think I've ever been in a car where my head has been adequately... Actually, my car at the moment, not this car, my other car at the moment, I think that one, to be fair, and people who say to be fair all the time, to be fair, it's like a filler word. To be fair, I mean, to be fair? What the fuck? What are you being fair about? But to be fair, it's like just a rhythmical filler. Like, fuck, like cunt, I suppose. And belching for me. But to be fair, in my other car, my head, I think my head is in contact like that. Because I feel quite, yeah. This car's better though. This car's got a more meaty engine in it. This is an 1800. The car I drive around most of the time is only a bloody, it's like a lawnmower engine in it. Remember the Lawnmower Man? I think the Lawnmower Man probably drove around in a Peugeot. Probably drove around in a Peugeot. I can't remember the storyline of the Lawnmower Man. It was like virtual reality horror, wasn't it? I shouldn't mock it, because it wasn't the point of the Lawnmower Man that it was based around a man who drove around on a lawnmower. I think it was, my mercenaries. So there you go. What I was going to say, when I sat here today, I was going to talk about music. I was going to bring up the fact that I've done 53 Discovers now, right? And on the whole, I have been pretty much nothing but positive about all 53 albums. I've given them all good scores, I think. So, were all 53 albums great? Or is there something about putting a review ahead on? I mean, I'm leaning, I don't drive or I'm leaning like this. This is because I can see that I've had to balance the... If you could see, I've got this camera balanced. It's not good, my mercenaries. I'm having to learn... If I just don't lean into it, I'm over here. I mean, it's the rule of thirds. It's the rule of thirds. This probably works fine. This is like an episode of, what was it, Marion and Jeff? Jeff and Marion. Remember that? But the question is, my mercenaries, was every album of those 53 great? Or when you put a reviewer head on, do you approach an album differently? Do you have to accept, do you have to appreciate aspects of it that you wouldn't if it was just on the radio and you got to make one quick flippant comment? I don't know. I think, I bit my lip then. I think also there's something about investing money in something that gives you a different opinion of it. Because if I bought an album for 20 quid and I have it in my hands and I'm playing it, and I do believe this, and this is a problem with buying albums to review rather than being given albums to review. But I am swayed because I know that I've invested money in that product, so I want to like it, and that's weird for a reviewer. I mean, I'm not a reviewer, am I? I just put a record on and I listen to it. But someone's just walking towards me. Just pretend that I'm. Just do that. Just talk like that. I could either talk like this for the rest of the video, or I could talk like that. There's certainly something about having money invested in a product and then having to give your opinion on the product. So, and I'm sure that's happened. And then it makes you wonder, what would you say about something if you hadn't invested the money in it? And then we get back onto the fact that I'll hear bands on the radio or historically, and there are bands out there that other people think are fantastic. So we're not into this objective thing where can you objective, and me and Explosive Notes have talked about this in the past, can you objectively say that a band is good or bad? Objectively. And there are people out there who say yes, you can. They'll say that some bands are matter of fact good. Some bands are matter of fact bad. Good bands that we could all perhaps agree on. That's the problem we're going to get into in a minute. But I'd say good bands, the Beatles, the Stones, whatever. Bad bands that we can agree are bad. How do you do that, my mercenaries? How do you agree that a band's bad? I mean, perhaps a band that, like these school kind of bands that just kids getting together, none of them can play their instruments. If no one in the band can play their instrument, and everyone's playing out of time, and it's a complete racket, people with cymbals going off and trumpets and violins out of tune, that's objectively bad, isn't it? And yet someone somewhere will put that on. Let's just say, right, if you've got that, and it's a... I mean, why is that in the footwell? If you've got a recording of that, right, this school band with the cymbals going off and the trumpets, and you play it to someone, you say this is a school band, they'll go, oh, that's terrible. Now play it to the person and tell them it was a 1968 recording by, I don't know, Andy Warhol in some kind of art studio establishment, or it was something that Salvador Dali was working on with a bunch of musicians. Just skew it in your mind with what you think you're listening to, some sort of avant-garde shit. Someone, somewhere, if they buy into that, will say, oh no, I can hear the nuances here. This is quite superb. This is technically clever. This is mathematical. It sounds like chaos, but from chaos we get beauty. And then you say, no, it's not, it's just a school band recorded. And then they go, oh. And that's, I think, the problem with art in general. Because it is all subjective. And it is very hard to be objective about it. So when I hear a band that I don't like Keane, don't like them. Don't like them at all. Or most of the output of U2, not a fan. And let's face it, there's loads of bands out there that I don't like. But if you suggest I do a discover of a Keane album, I mean, let me just get this out there. Whenever I hear Keane, I don't know if you know Keane, that's the band that did... Something only we know. I have to sing through the whole song to get to the bloody title of the song. Saying that though, I love the Lily Allen version of that for the John Lewis advert. Oh, Lily Allen, Lily Allen. But so whenever I hear Keane on the radio now, I can smell sour milk. I've always said this. I can smell sour milk. Don't know why. Sort of like the singer. But I can smell sour milk. Not a fan. But if you guys told me to do a discover, a listen through, a talking over a Keane album, and I bought it on vinyl, and I had it in my hands, and I had the artwork, and the smell, I could, oh God, it smells of sour milk. But I could smell the vinyl. I'm invested in that then, and I have the feeling that once I'm invested in it, once I've spent 20 quid on bloody Keane, and I'm listening to it, I'm invested. I've not only invested the money, but I'm investing the time in choosing to listen to it. I then put a different hat on, and I start to hear things that I haven't heard when I was just matter-of-factly slating it. And I'll hear the nuances, and I'll listen to it, and I'll probably say, oh God, like the way the interconnection between the piano and drums, and no guitars, and that's interesting. And actually his voice is all right, really. It's all right, really. Once you put some air freshener in the room. And I can imagine that I'd come away from the Keane album saying to you guys, overall, I enjoyed that. Because it seems like every album I listen to, overall, I enjoy that. So that's what I'm putting out there, really. I think it's probably easier to be hard, like proper hard line, on something that you're having inflicted upon you, that you're listening, that you haven't invested any time in, that you haven't invested any money in, because that doesn't always stand. I've got thousands of CDs, so am I saying there that just because I bought a CD that I like the CD? Not sure. There was a Green Day album, I think the one after Dookie, that I bought, that the whole album passed me by without me even realising the songs had changed. Didn't like that one. I bought, there was a CD by a band called The Twang, I think they were called. Sort of early noughties, mid noughties. I used that CD as a coaster. Also the Blur's Great Escape I used as a coaster for my drinks. So I'm not saying that just because you buy something, you like it. But I'm saying that if you spend out on something, there is a chance that you'll give it more effort. You will at least try and appreciate it if you bought it. And if you bought it and you're giving your opinion to the world, you put another hat on and you think, I really better invest even more in this because I'm trying to be a prophet. So, although this is very scattershot video of Mercenaries, my point really here is how do you agree with me? Are we influenced when we spend out on something? If it's a friend's car, or a friend's house, or a friend's band, something we haven't invested our time and effort and money into, it's easier to say, oh yeah, did you see Jim's car? It was shit, wasn't it? See Jim's house? Oh dear. If you bought that car, you bought that house, you bought that album, well, who knows on Mercenaries, but I mean, I'm easily swayed, remember, because I'm drinking instant coffee now, rather than the machine variant. And actually, because I bought it, it was £1, £1.30 this was, because I bought it, it's quite good actually, tastes alright. I mean, I bought the version at home as well, but for some reason, I'm invested in this. They put it in one of these cups, these cardboard cups that are ruining the environment. And because of that, it tastes a little bit better. I'm invested in it. I should do a coffee review channel. I'd be good at a coffee review. Every one of them I'd go, that's good. That's good. It tastes like coffee. That's good. I'm invested in this as well. I'm invested in this sausage and egg bat, my mercenaries. Very good. Very good. Over and